I'm still managing to show up to work, still managing to do my school pickups, school drop-offs, be there for everybody that I need to. And I think that's testament to your program.
Today we have got the awesome Kamal on the call. Kamal has just finished up about a week or two ago in our program, 1% Blueprint. He's kindly taken 20 minutes out of his day to talk about his experience. From my perspective, he's absolutely smashed it, but I want him to speak himself, and I want you to hear from the man himself. Before we jump off, Kamal, do you want to just introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, a bit about you?
Absolutely. So I'm a tax director in the professional services industry. Started my job back in practice at the end of last year. And then what takes up most of my time is I'm the father to a lovely 5-year-old girl and husband to my amazing wife.
What was going on back then? If you rewind then, what was your motivation for having a chat with me or somebody like me?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we first, I saw your content from a few people, but it stood out from 2 people for me. One of them was a former colleague, as you say, and another one was a client who I just started working with. So I spoke to both of them. They both gave you a ringing endorsement. And then in terms of what was going on with me, I mean, I was in a situation where life was good, life was comfortable, because I'd worked very, very hard to achieve a good work-life balance. And I felt like I'd achieved that. But I'd almost felt like I was getting too comfortable. And a lot of the good qualities which I had from my younger days, like a lot of graft, a lot of grit, and really kind of attacking things with a lot of kind of oomph. I felt like I was losing connection with that part of me. And that's really what I wanted to get back at and not just remain at that sort of comfortable level.
If that's where you were, let's fast forward to today. It's a bit longer than 2 months actually, but you come through the program, you come through the process. What have been your, I guess, key highlights and successes given where you were to where you are today?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest one for me personally is my energy levels. My energy levels are really, really high. And at the moment, I mean, I won't go into details on this call, but as you know, Luke, there's some challenges I'm going on outside of work and everything, which are out of my control, which are really putting a drain on my sort of mental headspace. But even then, I'm still managing to show up to work, still managing to do my school pickups, school drop-offs, be there for everybody that I need to. And I think that's testament to your program, because even though it seems like it is a lot of hard work at the start, it's actually driving up and creating more energy and it gives you more of that resilience, which is what I needed. Number 2 is physically. I mean, when we first spoke, I said physical wasn't a big issue for me, but I think you quite quickly called BS on that without using those words. But I just saw that's been a big thing for me. I lost 7 kilos throughout the program. I think I've lost 1 more since the program's finished. So it's continuing to go in that sustainable habit. And then I was going to say my final big takeaway is at work. I mean, this is not something we worked on directly, but it's not a coincidence. But the time that I was working with you, my client pipeline just gone through the roof. And I think that's because of the way I'm showing up to meetings and the way I'm showing up with my energy levels.
What would you say have been the key learnings or like takeaways that you've had having come through the process to get you to the point that we're at today?
Yeah, so I'd say there's quite a few, so but I'll pick on the 1 or 2 that come to mind. I'd say the process, I don't think you use this term, Luke, but I think your whole program is trying not to give away your secrets. There's a lot of sort of a lot of it's based around micro wins and micro habits. And I think that's really key because I've used that same concept to other parts. So one of the things I want to do is just start reading for pleasure again, which I hadn't done for a while. And I think I've read 3 books in the last 2 weeks because I've just broken it down rather than seeing overwhelmed by this is a big book. I've broken it down into small chapters and think, right, okay, I can just do better reading a small piece than reading nothing, basically. And in the same way I did with the exercise with you, it's like better to show up and do something rather than do nothing. One thing I've really got out of the program is to be honest with yourself. Because I think if you're honest with yourself, you can tell whether you are just giving yourself an easy pass by saying I'm too tired or whether you're genuinely too tired.
Yeah.
And that's something I've become a lot better at.
If there's one thing you could point to would be the key takeaway from the whole process. And I know there's lots that we're talking about, but if you could sort of point to one thing, what would you say the big thing is that you've taken from the process overall?
Yeah, for me, it was definitely the bias towards action, because I'm quite good at sitting around and I always have been good at thinking about stuff, but then less so of actually just getting up and then doing the task. Because it's easy to sit down and write, and I find it quite easy to sit down and write and make lists and plans. then executing on those plans is often where I used to sometimes fall down. But I think with your program, because it was very much around the micro goals, and I think the real magic of your program, it hit me during week 3 or 4, is when you start to see all the little things layer on top of each other. See how the nutrition layers on the exercise, layers on the mindset. And so having that bias towards action sets that kind of positive wheel in motion. And you get all the good stuff coming out of you, and then it just sort of like overflowing with it.
So what would you say to someone that's kind of on the fence with potentially engaging with a process like this?
Yes, if you've got that kind of butt in you, I think you owe it to yourself really to explore what's behind that butt. Get curious, what's that kind of internal urge there? And I'd say that the best investment you can ever make is in yourself. So if you invest in yourself and just think that the sky's the limit. I mean, from an 8-week program, I lost 7K, high energy levels, doing better at work, just generally all around more present with people around me. And that's from 8 weeks. So I'm just thinking, what can happen in 52 weeks?
Exactly.
And that all came from me being exploring that urge and that what was that butt in me. And that's really what you helped me sort of uncover. And it wasn't like you said to me, Kamal, here's what you need to do. You just sort of gave me the foundations, and then I sort of explored it, and you sort of guided me along the way, and it was brilliant. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, so thank you for your time, Kamal. I hope anyone watching has got a lot out of it. I certainly have. If anyone who's watching is interested in potentially having a chat, find out a bit more about what I do, what the process is like, just drop me a note in the comments or send me a DM. On that note, Kamal, absolute pleasure. Thank you. You're a legend. And everyone else, have a fantastic week. Cheers. See you later.